The fatalism. Fatalism, an issue of utmost importance, one that confronts the three major religions, is religious fatalism. Materialists often wield this concept as a weapon against followers of religious beliefs. After justifying economic and psychological fatalism for themselves, they object to religious fatalism. In reality, there is no such thing as religious fatalism. Rather, it is a concept that has been misunderstood since ancient times. This misunderstanding has always been the focus of debate and dialogue between theologians and philosophers, each with their own perspective on this critical issue, which has occupied human minds for centuries without providing a definitive answer. This is why we find opponents of religious faith spreading rumors about the value of a believer's actions, leading to despair. They claim that this reliance is on absent fortunes and vague uncertainties. The questions that arise here are paradise and hell coincidences? Are people led to their destinies according to a predetermined plan in which they have no role? Is man predestined or given free will? What is the issue of divine decree and destiny in religion? Philosophers' opinions on human freedom. By examining what philosophers have said and the research they conducted on human freedom, we find that their views unfolded as follows. 1. The Mu'tazilites' view. Humans are creators of their actions, whether good or evil. Therefore, they are responsible for what they do, a responsibility that justifies their reward or punishment on the day of judgment. Divine justice necessitates this. The reference point for a person's choice of actions is their intellect. Second, Wasil ibn Atta's opinion. Humans are capable of creating their actions, making them responsible for them. It is impermissible for Allah to impose something on His servants and then hold them accountable for it. Third, Al-Nizam's doctrine. Humans are capable of choosing their actions, whether good or evil. Allah is not described as having the ability to commit evil or sins, as these are not within His domain. The Jahmites' view. Humans are incapable of doing anything and are not described as having ability. They are compelled in their actions, possessing neither power nor choice. Instead, Allah creates their actions for them, in the same way He creates actions for inanimate objects. If we attribute actions to humans, it is metaphorical, much like attributing actions to inanimate objects, as in saying, the tree bore fruit, or the sun set. Consequently, rewards and punishments come solely from Allah, according to His will. The Ash'arites' position. When a person sincerely wills a specific action, Allah creates that action for them. The action is thus created by Allah, but it comes into existence at the moment of the person's will. These were the most prominent opinions expressed in the discourse on human freedom. On predestination and free will. It is said that every human being is created, and it is already in Allah's knowledge whether they are among the people of paradise or hell. No matter what a person does, it will not change their destiny, nor will anything they do benefit them in altering their fate. It is also said that Allah created us and our actions. So why does He hold us accountable for the evil deeds we commit, as long as He is the one who created them and we have no power to change them? And if Allah is capable of guiding humanity, why does He not guide them? And why does He then punish them? These are some of the questions that cross many minds and occupy the thoughts of many believers. However, they keep these questions to themselves, hesitating to ask them. They feel as though they are suppressing something that burdens their souls and strains their thoughts. The reality, as we see it. The truth is that humans are both predestined and free at the same time. They are predestined in their physiological structure, meaning that they have no will over the management of their bodily systems, which are subject to natural determinism and governed by it. For example, certain glands, over which humans have no control, may lead to fear, courage, chastity, or impulsiveness. These are forms of determinism that humans have no role in. Likewise, humans have no will over the material and intellectual abilities Allah has provided them with, which He alone determines in terms of quantity and quality. Here, humans are predestined, and one who is coerced into something is not punished for it. From this perspective, humans are subject to natural determinism, like the sun, moon, mountains, trees, and animals. In another sense, all existence, its inanimate objects, plants, and animals, is subject to and subjugated by Allah's command, and nothing occurs within it except by His will. The material side of humans falls under this law, as they have no choice in it. However, their spiritual side, specifically the intellect and thought that distinguish them from inanimate objects and animals, places them in the realm of accountability to Allah. In this realm, humans are given the freedom of choice and judgment, which is completely independent and uncoerced. They will be held accountable for these choices. Allah distinguished humans from inanimate objects and animals by endowing them with intellect and thought, and tasked them with choosing between alternatives, truth and falsehood, good and evil. Without this, the intellect would hold no value. Allah has shown humans the path of truth through His messengers and divine scriptures. Whoever follows the guidance will find good, and whoever prefers blindness over guidance will face ruin. Allah guides those who sincerely desire guidance and accept His path, leading them to the straight path. Conversely, those who deviate from this path have lost their way. No fatalism in religion. It is a mistake to believe that there is fatalism in religion, as this is far from logical or reasonable. If humans were compelled in their actions, Allah would neither reward nor punish them. The logical conclusion is that there are no people inherently inclined to absolute good or absolute evil. Allah did not decree sin for some and obedience for others, punishing the former and rewarding the latter without allowing them any role in this. We know that Allah has decreed justice and mercy upon Himself. Since humans have a direct role in choosing between alternatives, this negates the assumption that a person's fate is written for them at birth. Allah's justice dictates otherwise. Humans are rewarded after completing their work, not before it. This is the logic. Allah states in the Quran, in Surah Al-Insan 3, "Indeed, we guided him to the way, be he grateful or ungrateful." And in Surah Al-Balad 10, "and have shown him the two ways." In Surah Ash-Shams 7-8-7-2, "and by the soul, and He who proportioned it 8-2, and inspired it with discernment of its wickedness and its righteousness." From these noble verses, we understand that there is no compulsion for the soul to follow a single path. Rather, there are two paths. The soul has dual inclinations and cannot have a singular destiny. Divine justice dictates that humans must have a dual destiny. Destiny, as we understand it, is a dual-natured destiny that aligns with human nature, which possesses dual emotions and inclinations. The path of choice, or the crossing, is always open. In both paths, Allah has determined the destiny of humans in this world and the hereafter. This human destiny is written with Allah and is established in His eternal knowledge. It is indeed knowledge, determinism. Similarly, Allah's knowledge of human destiny is pre-existing, absolute, and written by Him. However, the door of choice is open to humans so that they may earn according to their deeds, bearing witness against themselves for the path they have taken. Destiny is a factual reality. Every human is born with a plan of action to follow. The goal of this plan, ultimately, is to establish justice and balance among humanity, making humans the vicegerents of Allah on earth, provided they walk the straight path. For those who lose their way, they take their destiny into their own hands and walk the path of misguidance, aided by none other than their enemy and the enemy of Allah. The Torah mentioned the coming of the Messiah, peace be upon him, and the destiny that would unfold with his arrival. Was this predetermination by Allah against the Jews to disbelieve in the Messiah, despite being the chosen people of Allah? Or was it prior knowledge by Allah of the path that the people of that era would choose regarding the Messiah, peace be upon him? The destiny of humans is not a mystery in Allah's knowledge. We do not know its subject within the human soul, nor how it transitions from one path to another. However, we conceptualize it as we have described here. A human being from birth until the age of maturity is not held accountable. During this time, they lack sufficient life experiences to make choices between alternatives. After reaching maturity, the individual's inclinations become evident. Just as a person may lean toward the left, they may sometimes lean toward the right. For example, they may adopt asceticism and monasticism, detaching themselves from material obligations. In such a state, the individual forgets that they are a balanced creation and they are not required to act like angels. This would be an injustice to oneself and a prohibition of what Allah has made lawful. Allah reminds humans, "And do not forget your share of this world." Detachment from materialism will not grant the individual a greater share than the one who walks the straight path to its end. Allah knows best. Duality and its roots. The concept of duality, or dualism, as it was called in ancient Greek philosophy, transitioned from philosophy to sociology, psychology, history, and economics. Since Plato, the meaning of duality was clear. The entire universe, or any phenomenon within it, consists of two contradictory natures that may intersect but never blend. One nature can never transform into the other. Plato distinguished between universals and accidental things perceived only by the senses. This theory developed further in Hellenistic Alexandria and among Muslim philosophers such as Al-Farabi, Avicenna, Ibn Sina, and Al-Ghazali. Western idealist philosophy adopted it, and Descartes presented another model of dualism, the duality of mind and body, arguing that the mind is distinct from the body, which occupies space. In analytical psychology, dualities such as consciousness and unconsciousness and consciousness and body emerged. Thus, we find that ancient philosophers and modern science have discovered duality in the universe, things, and humans. As we mentioned earlier, the Quran also points to the duality of the human soul. How, then, could humans have a singular destiny? We assert that their destiny is dual, with two faces, as explained. It is up to humans to choose the face that aligns with their inclinations, which are free of compulsion, to fulfill Allah's words, in Surah At-Tur 21, "And those who believed, and whose descendants followed them in faith, we will join with them their descendants, and we will not deprive them of anything of their deeds. Every person for what he earned is retained."